Can the Raiders bounce back from an utterly embarrassing loss at New Orleans? Let's find out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and yes, we are back live this Friday evening. We're going to be doing the Week 9 game preview against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to say hello to all of you filing in right now, both on the YouTube and the TikTok side. How you guys doing tonight? I see Derek Smith in here. I see Eric in here as well. How you guys doing? I want to know what your predictions are for this game. So you can put those in the chat now. We'll get to those right now. I also put a live chat poll in YouTube. You can answer that too. We'll get into that once we get to our Q&A session. Of course, I'm going to go over my game preview as I normally do. I'm going to give you my 4 keys of the game that the Raiders need to do to win this game, aside, of course, from turnovers and, stupid penalties and, onside kicks when you don't need to and all that. So I see Dominique in here. Hello, how you doing? Raider 7528 is in here. Tank, like I've been saying for years. You saw my title. Maybe so. There's some talk. We'll talk about that in the Q&A section first. I see a few people in TikTok as well. Let's get right to this, of course. If you are new on either platform, this is how we normally do it. We do what we call the rundown here. We have our certain topics that we talk about, of course. And then at the end, we're going to do a question and answer segment. And there's a link. You can come on live and chat with us once we get there. I put the link in the description of this video. If you look at it on TikTok and YouTube, it is the pinned comment. So once we get there, you can get in there as well. Hey, Hefe, I see you in here. How you doing? Predictions that we don't win, says Raider 7528. Okay, so let's get right to.
I hear everyone said, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
The first thing, the important thing, and that is the champion count. That's you guys. If it's not for you guys, there would not be a channel. There would not be a live stream. We are climbing, especially in the TikTok side, and I see a lot more of you in here. Again, if you guys want me to do a fantasy thing, maybe tomorrow I can do that. Put some ones in the chat. I know a lot of people, especially the TikTokers, want to do some fantasy football. Maybe some Raider fans that are just kind of disenchanted with this season. I can hear you. It is what it is. We're going to talk about this game, though. Is it going to be a tank, or are they actually going to find some pride? And I put that in the poll in YouTube, so if you want to participate in that poll, you can as well and vote on that. But as we normally do, we have a poll of the week, and we normally do this, and I had a little fun with this one, just like I did last week. I asked, what were you most concerned about this week? I put Trevor Lawrence here, Travis Etienne, and then I put a couple of our guys, and overwhelmingly it was our guys, and with Josh McDaniels getting almost half the votes, kind of seems that we're not as worried about this team as us hurting ourselves, and kind of reflects in the New Orleans game as well. So I don't blame you with that. My vote would be for Josh McDaniels as well. I think he's been at the epicenter of all of this issues as far as preparation, as far as the play calling goes, and some of the things you just scratch your head at. With that said, let's get right into this game review.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
As we normally do, we start on the defensive side for the Raiders, but the first thing we always like to do, and I've changed this up a little bit. These are some of the rankings here from Pro Football Focus. You can see those. You can take a look at those while we talk through this. The first thing I like to do is go over the injury report. We have 3, and the final injury report coming out this Friday afternoon. Divine Diablo and Darren Waller have been having issues before. Neil Farrell Jr. with a knee. Limited practice all the way through. That's kind of a problem for us as far as the one tech, but I don't think it's going to impact us severely as far as stopping the run. we still were doing that, believe it or not, last week with the Saints, even though we did send Jonathan Hankins to Dallas. As far as the Jacksonville Jaguars go, they got one guy on their list is questionable. It's basically a backup wide receiver. So basically their starters are all healthy and ready to go. So let's get into this right now. Of course, the first, I'm going to give you 2 keys on defense and then 2 on offense. And the first one should not be any surprise. And of course, it's going to be stopping this guy. And that's Travis Etienne. The reason that they got rid of James Robinson, frankly, and this guy has taken over the last couple of games and has been outstanding. I mean, he's averaging 135 yards and 1 touchdown per game. And they're very much like us. And that's why I put this in the thumbnail, showing a mirror image, not only with Carr and Lawrence's stats as far as yards, touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, very close to one another, but also the way this team's formed, especially on the offensive side. They're actually getting a good running game going, and they're living on that. They're 12th in the league. No, actually 7th in the league. We're 10th in the league running the ball. So I think this is their biggest weapon, and he's been showing that he can take this load full head on. And this is my goal for us. Keep him under 100 yards. Like I say, he's been averaging 135 and a touchdown. I also put no rushing touchdowns. Also put 6 rushing first downs. Now, I did that because they got 12 rushing first downs last week against Denver in the loss, but it was a close loss. And before that, 7 against the Giants. So they're averaging about 10 per game with ETN as their full-time bell cow type running back. So I think if we can do that, that's going to go a long way. But of course, we're going to have to get to the second one. And that should really come to no surprise, to be honest with you. And that's this front 4. It was pathetic. I mean, Max Crosby's out there doing what he can, but he kind of underperformed as well. Let's be honest. No sacks, no QB hits last week. Andy Dalton got to do whatever he wanted. We can't let that happen here. They've got Christian Kirk. They've got Marvin Jones, Evan Ingram in free agency as well. And I want to see at least 2 sacks and 5 quarterback hits. I think that's a good benchmark for us. If you look back into the games against the Jaguars where they've had some issues with Lawrence throwing interceptions, they were getting to the quarterback more. We got to find our way. And quite frankly, if you look at the ratings on the offensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars, there really shouldn't be any excuse for either Max or Chandler Jones to get to the quarterback. I'm also going to see Devon Diablo. He's doing some inside blitzing. Of course, we'll be having Jonathan Abram coming in as well. So at least 2 sacks, at least 5 quarterback hits, and less than 50% on that third down conversions. Got to keep this guys off the field and shut down this running game of this offense, and we'll go a long way to win this game. Again, if you are enjoying this, of course, got to urge you to subscribe, follow if you're a TikToker. And of course, we do this that way you'll be notified. And of course, we're going to do it again like we normally do. And we're going to be going live at halftime of this game. So it's a 10 o'clock start, just like last week, 10 o'clock Pacific. Probably be on about 11:30 a.m. We go about 10 or 15 minutes. We talk about these 4 keys of the game. I also give my good, my bad, my ugly to the first half. And then I want to hear from you what you think of it and what you're grading this team through the first 30 minutes of the game. We have a lot of fun, and I encourage you all to come out and join us.
I hear everyone say it, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now on the offensive side of the ball, it should really be of no surprise because this was probably the biggest issue we had on either side of the ball last week. Of course, we're going to start with this offensive line as a whole, including Colton Miller. Like I said, he got owned by Marcus Davenport last week. They've got some pass rushers here, including number 1 overall pick, Javon Walker. Arden Key, you can see in there. They have PFF has him as a tackle. I would say he's more of an edge rusher. He'll probably be cycling in and out. He's been kind of doing well ever since he left the Raiders and went to the 49ers. He's kind of up and down, but still, they have adequate amount of pass rushers on this team that could keep us on our toes, especially with the way this offensive line played last week. And like I said, I don't need this rating to tell me Alex Barr sucks. I told you guys that before, but I'm going to keep this right here. This is a good benchmark, in my opinion. 2 sacks max, 5 quarterback hits max. If they're getting anything more than that, Carr's going to be skittish. this offense is going to sputter. We're going to be in deep trouble once again. And I'm still looking at that 50% third down conversions. I think it's doable. It's a little above average, but you know what? I think we can do it against this team. And I'm going to go to my second point, not only with the offensive line, I'm gonna talk about Josh Jacobs in this running game. It's not going to be exactly what you think. They do have a good run defense, similar to us, but the problem with their defense is they're one of the worst against the running backs receiving the ball, kind of like us. I didn't mention it on the other side because Travis Etienne hardly ever catches the ball, and in fact, the Jags hardly ever throw to the running backs out in the flat. So that's a plus for us because we're terrible at it too, just like they are. This is a mirror image. This reminds me of. So I'm looking at 80 yards combined goal for all of our halfbacks in receiving yards. I want to see at least 2 rushing touchdowns. It's weird that they're pretty good against the run as far as yardage, but they give up a lot of rushing touchdowns. So I think we can move the ball against these guys out in the flat. And of course, the passing game needs to get going, and that's going to be on the offensive line with better pass protection, and then punch it in when we're close. And I think we can do that. Josh Jacobs has shown that he can do that as well. Now, as far as my prediction goes, if all goes well, I'm looking at about a 31-24 victory for us. Jacksonville does not score a whole lot of points. They've only scored in the 30s one time this whole season, and our defense has only given up 30-plus points one time this whole season. That was against the Chiefs, of course. I could see this, and I might be giving them too many points, but it is going to be in Duval. It's going to be humid probably, even though it's in early November now. I know the Raiders took a week, stayed in Sarasota, hopefully to get acclimated to that Gulf Coast environment. If you haven't been down there or you haven't lived down there, trust me, it's rainy, it's miserable, and it's hot, and it's humid, and it's really sticky. And that can play a part with this team, this Raiders team, down the stretch. So, but I think if they all do well and they're quote-unquote not tanking, I could see this being a 31-24 victory. But I want to know what you have to say. Of course, as usual, put it in the comments right now in chat, in live chat, both on TikTok and YouTube. Put your prediction, put your actual score prediction for this game. If you are watching this on a replay, why not subscribe so you can be here with us? But put it in the comment section as well. And like I said, I read these comments and I usually respond to them unless they're insane. And we have some bots going on. We have some more bots. So this is a plus for the channel. That means the bots think we're high enough to actually be gotten here as far as the bots go. So I will take these off though. Don't click on any of this nonsense, you YouTubers. We're gonna put these out of here. But thank you, Dominique. I think Dominique, quick on the draw there, took care of that for me. So anyway, I want to know what you guys have to say about this. Let me get this over here. And I will get in the chat mode as well. As usual, we're gonna put the chat room up. Give me 1 second. There we go. It is available. I put the link in the comment section on TikTok. You click on that link, you come into the green room, I let you in. Of course, you need to have a mic. You don't have to be on camera. You can if you want. You don't have to be on camera. That's fine. Tell me what you think of this game. If you want to talk about last week, if you want to talk about the future of the Raiders, Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr, we can talk about that as well. I got a little bit of news with that as far as things that have been happening with that. But I want to get your input. Same thing with the YouTube side. I put the link. It's a pinned comment in the live chat, so you can click on that, come into the green room and join us. So let's see what you guys have to say. Hey, Alice Ghost, I see you in here. No victory, says Raiders 75-28. That Carlos says thanks for the content. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and watching the content. Lencho says Max is playing 90% in games. He's going to wear out. Gus had him at around 70-80%. I think Max can handle the 90%. He's just a freak in nature. Plus, who else do we have to put in there as far as pass rushers go? Malcolm Kuntz. I mean, he's been kind of here and there. He's had some decent activity, but I'm not so sure he's ready for that kind of a more of a role. Raiders say no fans should be thinking victory anymore. You want to have Raiders 75-28 wants to do a full tank. I want to hear what you guys have to say as well in TikTok. Thank you for the gifts in TikTok. I see some TGIF, some cookies. All right. Well, it is November, so we are kind of getting into the holiday season now. We're past Halloween, past the voodoo of New Orleans, and, it's time to start getting into Thanksgiving mode, Christmas cookies, and all that good stuff. Did you watch, Raiders 75-28 says, did you watch the Kurt Warner film breakdown? No, I did not watch the Kurt Warner film breakdown. It's Kurt, but not Kirk, but no, I did not. What did he have to say? Basically, that Derek Carr sucks. I mean, honestly, there's problems all the way around, obviously, with that game. The only one I would really try to have any absolution from was Max Crosby. You could tell they weren't really running on his side at all. They're running on Chandler Jones's side, and he's supposedly supposed to be able to set an edge. Not so much, especially against Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill made him look stupid. The offensive line, he didn't get much push at all. Neither did Max Crosby for that matter, but they still could stop the run. Like I said, Alvin Kamara was under 4 yards per carry. It didn't bother me. It's these little trick plays with Taysom Hill. I knew that was going to be a problem, and it was a problem. As far as what did Kurt Warner actually have to say? Does it really matter, to be honest with you? So if you guys want to come on chat, click on here if you want to talk about this game. I think 75-28 thinks we are in full tank mode. There's a lot of people talking about that this week, basically saying that there's some theories out there that Josh McDaniels didn't fix the offensive line on purpose, and he's just kind of throwing Derek Carr to the wolves at this point, and he's going to move on from him and select a quarterback in the first round. As far as the reports on Twitter go, Mark Davis isn't not going to be firing Josh McDaniels anytime soon. I think he's safe at least for this year. I'm not so sure I agree with if he is throwing Derek Carr to the wolves. I don't think so. I just think the line is awful, and I think that goes towards McDaniels. Also goes to Dave Ziegler. I was talking about the holes on this team all off season. We had a problem last year, of course, with right tackle, still not solved. They re-signed Brandon Parker. Did they watch any film from last year? Because that made no sense to me. The only thing I could think of was that he'd be a swing tackle. They got Jackson Barton. They've activated him. I think he's probably the best lineman to play left tackle other than Colton Miller, if Colton Miller goes down, that we have on the roster right now. So that's understandable, but it's still not good enough. Where's the right tackle? Illuminor has been, it looks like he's been banged up a little bit, to be honest with you, but he's been kind of hot and cold at that position. I think he's probably better suited as a guard, to be honest with you, but again, that position, defensive tackle and corner, we really didn't address adequately, in my opinion, in the draft or free agency in this offseason. So, yeah, I saw Kirk's breakdown. Alex Go says McDaniels has lost the locker room. Well, I would say so. I would say so because you don't lose 24-0. You're supposed to be this offensive guru. And you don't get into Saints territory until 2 minutes until near the end of the game. I mean, and that wasn't even with the first stringer. That was with Stidham. So, of course he did. Our team didn't show up in NOLA. Watch Jason Kelsey's speech about tanking. You never want to tank. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to reiterate what I said in the game review on Monday about tanking and the attitude. I think, to me, it's a slap in the face to Al Davis. I could never ever see Al Davis wanting to do that. The commitment to excellence is gone, of course. Those are just words on a wall now. Until the ownership shows it, until management shows it, until the coaches show it, until the players show it, Those are just meaningless words on a wall. It's ancient history. It's like going to the pyramids and seeing the hieroglyphics, you know. Okay, that's history, but that's not today. It's not today. It is what it is. So I'm tired of watching it. I saw the glory days. A lot of people haven't. So it's showing a disservice. And we talked about what my opinion is as far as patronizing this team, this organization. So, hey, Francisco, how you doing? I see you in here. You love the Raiders. I love the Raiders too, or Francis, rather. But they're not playing to that level. They're not playing to the level that this team was founded on by Al Davis. They're playing like before Al Davis got here, you know, going like 2-12 or something. They had 14-game season or something, or 1-15 or something. He took over, but they're not playing that level. I want to see. I'll say this though: if they don't come out here and play with pride as players, remember last year a lot of these same players are still here. Some of them aren't, but a lot of them still are here. They showed up those last 4 games, got themselves into the playoffs just on sheer will. I wouldn't say Bisaccia was a great coach. He's a great unifier, but I wouldn't say he's a great head coach. So, are they going to fight their pride? That's the whole thing. Are they gonna come out this Sunday and be flat again? If that's the case, then what's the point? What's the point of going to these games and everything? I mean, if they're not going to provide the effort, that's just ridiculous. So, and I do not condone tanking in any way. I think that's counterintuitive. I think this team is better than its record, obviously. I think the coaching has done a disservice to this team, and that flows with the ownership because they hired these people, and it's just the way it is. And you know, some of the things, you know, the fake punts, the onside kicks when we're up 10-7, and just a lot of things that didn't make any sense. You know, he's being too cute. It's going to be a little hard sledding to run the ball against this team. They're one of the better teams against the run. They're one of the better teams to run the ball. Very similar to us. That's why I did the thumbnail as a mirror image. Not only that, Trevor Lawrence is having a very similar season to Derek Carr. Not only that, they have a similar record. But I do think we are more talented overall. I think we will be able to stop Travis Etienne from going too crazy, just like we did Alvin Kamara, at least in the running game. Like I said, Etienne does not catch the ball that often. And if you look back in the season, I was looking, they don't really throw to any of their running backs much at all. It's Evan Ingram, it's Marvin, it's Christian Kirk. Those are their mainstays. So not a whole lot of running back throws. Maybe they'll change it up because they see how crappy the Raiders are at covering the running back in the flat. That could happen. I don't know. I don't think it will, but you never know. Hey Israel, I see you in here. How you doing tonight? It's pointless to tank because we have to make players at different positions needed for the Raiders to compete for a Super Bowl. If we get rid of Carr, we need a quarterback. Well, yeah. I think that's the whole point of people saying we should tank, is because there's some good quarterbacks coming out in next year's draft. And if we tank, we'll get a higher pick and we'll have a better chance at getting one of those coveted quarterbacks. I hate to say it, but Derek Carr, it kind of reminds me of Alex Smith with the Chiefs. Not terrible, but not elite. And can he actually take us to a Super Bowl? And the skittish play, it's back again. Skittish play. Joey Bosa saying he's scared. He's playing like it again. And I know he's getting hit, but there was that one play in Houston where he threw it down the middle. He took the hit and got the touchdown with Mac Hollins. That's what we need. You're going to take some hits as a quarterback. You got to run the ball a little bit too. Didn't run the ball last week. It's like, come on, man. It's like you play one way one week and the next week you revert back to your old ways. So, I think we need to get Patrick Mahomes, to be honest with you. We need to try to find that next elite quarterback. That's what the Chiefs did. Chiefs were a 7-9 team, 8-8 team at best. They weren't scaring anybody with Alex Smith. Don't listen to the Chiefs fans. Most of them are fair weather fans anyway, probably bandwagoning on to the Mahomes train. So, but they were an average team at best before Mahomes got there, and then they exploded with him. So, I think Carr is serviceable, but I mean at this point, I don't know. We need to fill holes. If we're not going to fill, we need a Mahomes to be able to scramble and run like he does. If we're going to keep having a shitty offensive line, it's just the bottom line. So, thank you for the Novembers. Thank you for the footballs. I see Sandy Eclectic in here. Hello, Hugo Ram. How you doing? All my TikTokers in the house. And 7528. Tanking philosophy, winning's pointless, games just setting us back. The higher the pick, the higher the value. We can trade down, easily fill positions in the. That's if we do that. That's if we do trade down. We still don't know what this new regime's going to do with a first round pick because they traded it away to get Devontae Adams last year. So, I don't want to assume that. Are we going to tank for CJ Stroud? Can we trust an Ohio State quarterback? I mean, I don't know. Justin Fields starting to come back. I don't know. And they got Chase Claypool, so this might be it. I don't know. It's probably do or die for Fields. I mean, but yeah, I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you think we should go draft a quarterback in the first round. Put a 2 if you do not think we should draft a quarterback in the first round. I'd be very interested to see that. Let's see. AKA the scientist says, is Derek Carr finished in Vegas? I would give it at least a 50-50 chance, if not more. You don't know. You could say, well, it's one bad game. Honestly, Derek Carr was playing pretty well the last 2 or 3 games before the Saints game. Had some problems with Houston in the beginning, but that's been kind of the MO with this team. They'll come out and be flat for about the first quarter and a half, and then come out and the car warms up, pun intended. That's an option, though. AKA the scientist puts a 1. Yeah, we are going to draft a quarterback in the first round. What says you? I'm sure 7528 thinks we are. What about you, Al's Ghost, Lencho? What are you thinking on this? Because McDaniels isn't going anywhere, guys, at least for another season. We'll have him. I'm going to say we'll have him for at least through half of 2023. That's my guess. He's not going anywhere this year. It's not happening. So, Tommy Boy, a.k.a. Mark Davis, has said that he is staying, so there's no talk of that. So, it does look like McDaniels, if you watch the last few interviews, the last few pressers, he's just been looking a little shaky out there. Got to admit, somebody's been riding his behind. Just saying. 7528 says the draft class is loaded at quarterback. We can draft in rounds 1 or 2. This is why tank trade down. It's a win-win. Yeah, but what are you telling the team now? What are you telling the organization? Are we gonna take down the just win baby signs? Are we gonna take down the commitment to excellence signs? Are the season ticket holders gonna get a discount for this year? No. So why put out an inferior product? You're ripping people off at this point. You do that on purpose, you're ripping people off. I mean, it's expensive enough to get into Allegiant Stadium. Hey, Sandy, welcome back. I see you back here again. TikTok land, how you doing? Been going through a lot. Appreciate you coming out, though. Scientist says Carr's contract is fat next year. He's going to get cut. Could be. If you want to do that, we can look into that. I can pull the numbers up if you want. Lyncho says, what did tanking get Cleveland with all those number 1 overall picks? Cleveland, Cleveland is a special case. Let's just say that. Um, they never really addressed the quarterback position properly. Of course, Baker Mayfield, they got rid of him, of course. They went out and got, what's his name? Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football. Nah, he was terrible. And I don't know, they keep adding names to that jersey. That one fan has the jersey with all the names last 20 years at quarterback, starting quarterback. They think Deshaun Watson is the answer. I'm not so sure. He comes back after 11 games, so week 13, I think, or week 12. I'm not sure if no, Cleveland has its bye this week. So it'll be after week 12. So 11 games. He'll be back, but if you looked at him in the preseason, he looked really rusty. He looked pretty bad out there. It's going to take him time. As far as the Browns go, they're done this year. Maybe 2023 will be their year. Let's see. Certified 28 says it's a gamble and the NFL will be back next year. Lencho says, I feel like McDaniels is treating this whole year as an expanded preseason. He's figuring things out on the team. Yeah. That's what it looks like. And it kind of pisses me off because none of the starters played in the actual preseason. And the line still has issues. And we're just still messing with it. I don't know why Alex Barrs is starting. That's a mess. A lot of interior pressure when he's there. It's a huge problem. I know we probably counted on Denzel Good at least to be there. They were hoping Leatherwood would get his act together and be at right tackle, but when they saw it wasn't going to happen, there was no real plan B. It's just Illuminor, and he's okay at best, to be honest with you. There's times where he's looked really bad out there. So let's see. So if you are enjoying this, again, if you're watching this on a replay, a lot of people watch my replays, believe it or not. I go about an hour doing the live streams, but a lot of people watch the replays, and I'm like, why are you guys watching the replays? You guys should be here with us. And the way to do it is you hit the subscribe button. You hit that bell notification. Now, everybody tells you it's because you have to do those things on the YouTube side. If you're on the TikTok side, go ahead and follow. I think they're a lot better at notifying people when you are live than YouTube, to be honest with you. There'll be some more talk about that this off season with my channel. We're going to be making some major changes this off season, including going to a different channel, and I'll have more word about that. And once I get over to the other channel after this channel, this is going to basically go away. And I'll explain more about that once I get the second channel set up and all that and why I'm doing that. But there's some things that kind of come to light, to be honest with you. And I think that's probably the best thing I can do as far as growing this channel properly. It's a snail's pace, and it's ridiculous, to be honest with you. Their handling of my channel is worse than Josh McDaniels' handling of the Raiders. I'll just say that. And I'll get into more detail on that once I get the new channel up. I'll have you come over. I'll give you the details. You can come on over, and we'll start doing the live streams there. It'll probably be in the off season, though. I'm not going to have time. I have some personal things going on the next about 6 to 8 weeks. So expect that in the off season. And like Sandy says, hit that bell notification as well. Hit the like button too. Hopefully that'll help YouTube out as well. Let's see, scientist says a young quarterback would be better because Carr is scared to run. I bet Bo Nix would be better than him. Well, I'll tell you what, there's so much talk about this, and I'm probably about 60-40 at least right now, saying that that's probably going to happen at this point. Unless Carr shows something and really gets it together, I think at best he's got one more year with us. And that would be to, wait while the new kid on the block, kind of learns the system and all that the first year. I don't know if they'd throw a new kid out, automatically. They could, but unless he shows something to us, it's not going to happen. So, Diane says she has to go to the bank, but she'll be listening. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, halfway. We know who you like. We can see the name, and we see your picture, your avatar. We're not KC fans. We get it. It's okay. Scientists ask a good question. Who'll be there longer, Carr or McDaniels? I want to ask you guys that. I have my opinion. I want to ask you guys this first. Who's going to be there longer? If you think Carr's going to be there longer, put a 1 in the chat. If you think Josh McDaniels is going to be there longer, put a 2 in the chat right now, and I'll let you guys vote, and I will tell you my opinion on that. SGGSG, I called you eggs because it looks like eggs, so you got something on here in all caps too, so it must be super important. I think we draft a quarterback this year and let him learn behind Carr for a year. That's what I was thinking as well. I see 2 from you. Scientist says 2. Who will be there longer? Hefe put McDaniels 1. So I said, if you think Carr's going to be there longer, put a 1. Sandy B says 2. Eyes on the road, Diane, of course. You can listen, but you can't look. 2 from Sandy. I got to give it a 2 also. I think McDaniels is going to get at least another year to turn this around, and I don't know. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm not saying that's the solution for success. I still think we have a lot of holes, and the defense, the pass defense is terrible in this team. The run defense is nice, but remember Perriman's going to be gone after this year. Last year the contract. I think if we would have kept him to extend him, we would have done it already. So he's going to be out getting money. We got Devon Diablo, who's pretty good against the run. I think Abrams is gone, of course. Cleve Farrell, Josh Jacobs is gone. There's going to be a lot of changes in 2023. Let's just say that. And that's not the big holes that we need to fill too. So, yeah, I think Josh McDaniels, McDonald's. I mean, Hefe. If it's McDonald's, we would have your head coach here. I think he loves McDonald's. Dominique says too. Dominique says, what can we get for Carr in a trade realistically? Well, like I said before, with Stafford and the Goff trade, I mean, they got a couple first-round picks. They got Goff. Detroit did when they traded him to the Rams. And I said Carr's numbers are very similar to Matthew Stafford's, but Carr wasn't a first overall pick. I would say like a second and a third. I don't think we can get a first-round pick for him. And I could see him in New England with Bill Belichick. I think that might be the place. Unless, remember, Derek Carr says, I believe he has a no trade clause, and he said he wanted to be a Raider for life and all that, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean he's going to stay with that, but if any other place, maybe New England. Scientist says second round pick. Scientist says, is Jacobs getting paid? He's probably going to get paid, but not by us. Somebody else, maybe Buffalo, huh? Who knows? I think Carr, a.k.a. I'm not sure what that meant, Sandy. Egg says, let's be honest, they're not going to move on from Carr. We'll probably draft someone on defense or offensive line. I think unless Carr shows something and this offense turns around, I think we will draft a quarterback in the first round of next year's draft. Now, whether Carr stays on another year or not, we'll look at the contract. I think scientists said that the contract's kind of fat. I want to see how much dead cap space there is around that contract. But Jacobs to KC. You guys have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You guys spent a first-round pick on CEH. Why would Jacobs go to KC? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I could see Josh. You know where I see Josh Jacobs? Miami Dolphins. Can you imagine Josh Jacobs if Tua's his brain's not rattled and fried, and then you got Jalen Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, and you got Josh Jacobs running the ball? Ooh. Not to say Tua is a great quarterback, but good enough, and that could be dangerous. Dominic says Colts, Commanders, Saints, Texans, all should be interested in Carr. Yeah. Colts wasted some picks with Wentz. Commanders, again, I don't know how Carson Wentz keeps getting so much love from these teams. It's amazing. Saints, yeah. Texans, he's not going to go. Is he going to go to the Texans? After they turned his brother into a tackling dummy, basically. I don't know. Who knows? Crazier things have happened. AKA asks who would be here longer. Oh, okay. Okay. I just call a scientist. I don't think Carr's going to be here longer. I think McDaniels will be here longer. CH is gone next year. Really? I don't know about that. It'd be interesting. I don't know about that. He gets a lot of your touches now. Let's see. Nice to see you. Maybe the Atlanta Falcons for Jacobs. Yeah. I mean, Cordero Patterson. Again, I'd have to look at who the free agents are. I really don't want to get into the off season right now in November. That's kind of sad, to be honest with you. But it's kind of leaning that way, with this team being so terrible. It's a shame. I mean, it's a 10-win team. And we squandered a couple early games, especially the Arizona's. Inexcusable. The Chargers was definitely winnable. Tennessee was winnable. The Saints, nobody, just no show, pathetic excuse all the way down the line. Egg says it will hurt when Carr leaves, but it's a step we must take to get better. Again, it's kind of a similar parallel to Alex Smith. Alex Smith, first overall pick was San Francisco, eventually went to KC, was okay, had his moments, and then other moments he didn't look so good. And the team decided to move up in the draft and get Patrick Mahomes 10th overall. Bye, Alex. It could be going that way. It could be going that way right now. Chandler Jones, 2 sacks. He only has half a sack for this? No, he has 2 sacks altogether, right? Because he got 1.5. I don't know. It's not just him though. It's Max Crosby needs to get some sacks. It's the interior line. Where's Bilal Nichols? This was everybody was kind of touting Bilal Nichols from the Bears, like he's gonna be the guy, the solution to give us this interior pass rush and blah 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 blah. And it hasn't happened. Andy Dalton was clean in that game. Clean old man out there doing whatever he wanted to. Pathetic. Can't believe our season's over. This was the most overhyped I've ever been for a Raiders season. Well, I thought we'd get 11 wins. I think we have the talent for it. I knew the first 5 games were going to be tough. I had us at 3-2 at the bye week. We probably should have been 3-2, to be honest with you. A couple of those games, we just let them off the hook. Literally, Arizona, that was pathetic. The Charger game, 3 turnovers. You can't do that. We were still right in there with that game. I counted KC as a loss early in the season. I counted this game, the Jacksonville one, as a loss as well. But at this point, the way they played last week, to me, the team and Josh McDaniels, They have to do something. They can't roll over and die. If they do that again this week, it's going to be over. Nobody's going to go to these games. You know, everybody's going with their heads. It's going to be over. I mean, the season's already over. If you can't say, like I said, you can't say commitment to excellence and then play like that. You can't. Now, if you play hard and you lose, then you lose. And the other team was just better. Okay, cool. We gotta figure out, maybe get some new personnel or something else to improve. But you don't show up. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Colt Miller was getting owned in NOLA. Yeah, Marcus Davenport took his lunch money, made him cry. It was sad. It was absolutely sad. And the other guy too, Taylor, I think his last name was. He got a sack on him too. So, do you think there's any hope for the season? No, I do not. You mean hope as far as the playoffs? No, I give us a 5% chance at best. The way they played, like I said, we already squandered a couple games. Those were games we should have won. Honestly, we should be what 4-3 right now. So we should have been 3-2 at the break. Bye week, beat Houston, and then even if you lose this game, you're still 4-3 in the hunt for a wild card. No, I don't see it. I don't see a pathway. I know, and this is supposed to be the easy part of the schedule. We have a tough beginning, easy middle, and a tough ending. Now we have to play. I think we have to play the Rams and was it the Chiefs or I think the Chargers. Not the Chiefs. The Chiefs we played last in the week last, but we played them in like 4 days space. It's insane. So, I mean, not to say the Rams are world beaters, but they are the defending champions, and they can throw the ball as long as Stafford's healthy. Saints game showed me that this team has no heart. Yep, absolutely. And they were not very prepared with Houston. They kind of woke up late in that second quarter, got the touchdown, went in 20-10. I was upset about that, and then it was the Josh Jacobs show. But Saints game was 4 quarters to nothing. I mean, you could say Houston was 2 quarters to nothing. Sandy says, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, ring the bell, make sure you click all on the bells so you don't miss any of the notifications. Absolutely, especially if you're watching this on a replay. Again, we're 48 minutes in, start at 6 o'clock, usually go about an hour, close it out. Of course, we are going to be going live this Sunday at halftime, so it's 10 o'clock a.m. start Pacific time, so it's about an hour and a half-ish. Depending on how long the half goes, I will be on for about 10-15 minutes telling you my opinions on the first half and how we're doing with those 4 keys of the game. It's not just I'm giving you guys keys to the game, what I think we need to do to win. I want to know if that's actually translating. Are we actually doing that? And if we are, is it actually affecting the game? Are we actually winning at that point? Raiders will be playing spoiler, and they will. I think they're going to take some teams down with them, especially the Chargers. Chargers, again, terrible coaching. Again, Brandon Staley should have lost that Cleveland game. That was a stupid bonehead decision to go for it. I think like on his own 40 late in the game. All Cleveland needed was a field goal to win it, and they screwed that up, of course, because they're Cleveland. But they play other teams, they're going to lose those games. So they're kind of pretenders, in my opinion. Denver. I wasn't sold on this whole Russell Wilson thing, giving up 3 picks, and it's showing. Not to say Wilson sucks, but he's not the MVP he was before. That was not going to save them. And then of course Javonte going down. They're grabbing running backs as fast as they can get them to try to do something. Chase Edmonds, they got Latavius. They signed him off of free agency, I believe. So, yeah, Melvin Gordon. So, a lot of vets there. The offensive line last week against Jacksonville looked terrible against them. They still won, so there is hope. Like I said, this team's too talented to be losing to these tomato cans. To be honest with you, they're too talented to be down 20-10 at the half to Houston. They're way too talented to be shut out by the Saints, and they're too talented to lose to this Jacksonville team. That's my opinion. But we'll see. You got to have the heart. It's not just about the talent. Egg says, we'll 100% beat the Chargers. No way Carr throws for 3 interceptions again. I'm wondering if Bosa is going to be back for that game. It's going to be 100%. So he's been hurt. So beat the Chargers and Broncos. The Broncos are a given. I think we swept them like 2 years in a row or something. They're kind of a given, to be honest with you. Even with Russell Wilson, I wasn't sweating that game. Let's see. Manuel Herrera, how you doing tonight? Let's see. Okay, so you guys got any more questions? We're almost at the hour point. Like I said, I like to end this at about an hour. Doesn't get stale. Again, we're going to be going live. Put your questions. We'll close this one out. Put your questions down here. We're going to be going live on Sunday afternoon, or not actually afternoon. It's 10 o'clock game, so afternoon their time. But since they're playing in Florida, 11:30 Pacific time, Raider time. And then we'll be doing our game review at 6 o'clock on Monday night. Hopefully we have some good news, right? If we can get hot, it must happen now, I believe. I think the time's passed. Unfortunately, with the Raiders, they've given up too many gimme games early. Not just for the division, but just getting in the playoffs, period. So, and the AFC is a dogfight right now. Think about it. You got Miami, you got the Jets, doing quite well. Of course, Buffalo is a beast. Kansas City's there. You've got Baltimore. That North Division's looking kind of weird. You don't know how that's going to work out. I think Cleveland squandered some games. Of course, they don't have. They've been going with the backup because Watson's been suspended. And then you got like Tennessee. Indy has got a shot at the playoffs as well. So I think we're going to be the odd man out. It's a shame because we definitely have enough talent to get at least one of the wild card spots. So just pissed it away. What young quarterback do you have interest in? We'll talk about that in the offseason. I really want to focus right now on the season and where we're at. We'll do a whole draft special. We do that in the offseason. We do mock drafts. If you're new here, we get on a few different programs that I like. It's funny because some of the picks you can watch the old videos and the old live streams if you want. Some of those picks, Damian Pierce. I wanted Damian Pierce, by the way. Look how he's doing. How's he doing? Tell me how he's doing. Could have had him. Just saying. I'm just saying. Eggs. I'm going to call you Eggs. Eggs G. We will sneak in at 9-8 or 10-7. I called it. Wow. Wow. Whoa. We're only going to lose 2 or 3 more games the whole season. I don't know about that, but I'm all down for it, though. That would be great. It's got to start now. If they're flat again, it's over. They're done. They're already setting up their golf reservations. That's it. It's over. Where else are you streaming from? Where am I streaming from? I am also streaming on TikTok. I have a TikTok channel, Raider Champion TikTok as well. And I'm not getting the same love as I was last time. People wanted to do fantasy football stuff. I was going to do a show about that, but I think I'm going to kind of put that off. So before we go, I want to check this poll. What's the likelihood of the Raider bounce back? It's kind of all over the place. You guys said 15% of you said 100%, 23% said 75%, a third of you said 50%, who knows, and a third of you tanking for a new quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, this week, honestly, is the biggest enigma week for me this whole season. I have no idea what's going to happen. I went based on if the Raiders go to those keys, and if they're successful with those 4 keys, they should win at least 31-24. I could see 38, maybe 38-21, something like that. Like I said, Jacksonville doesn't score a whole lot of points, but our defense gives up a lot of points, especially in the air. So it'll be very interesting. Let's take Michael NorCal Raider. I see you in here. How you doing? Don't do TikTok. Well, I mean, like I said, in the off season, I'm going to be opening a different YouTube channel. And once I do that, I'll explain exactly why. But the YouTube channel is not growing, so I have to reach other people. I'm on Facebook. I have to reach other people as well. Lencho. So Michael NorCal Raider, just an FYI, you don't pay players all that money and then tank. Please think about what you're typing. I'm at the beginning of the video. Okay, well, like I said, I don't believe in tanking. I think it's a terrible belief system, and it diametrically opposes Al Davis, in my opinion. Just win, baby. There's no room for tanking. You go out there and you bust your ass. You play like hell. And if it's not good enough, you get more players that will make the difference. And you keep going. You don't tank. Egg says, this week will show me what this team is. It's going to show everybody. It's going to show Raider Nation. It's going to show us what to expect out of Josh McDaniels. He's going to be a better coach this week. Is Derek Carr going to be a better player? Is he going to be running and jumping over people to get first downs like we've seen him in the past? Is Devontae Adams not going to have butterfingers? I know he was ill, had an illness or whatever, and apparently he's good to go right now. So we need him. Where's Hunter Renfrow going to be? If you looked at my charts, the slot corner on the other side of the ball is terrible. So you can look for Hunter Renfrow to get a touchdown or two in this as well. Josh Jacobs, I think I'm going to temper my expectations with him because of the Jags defense. I would like to see some more screenplays out the flat. This would be a great game for us if we had kept Kenyon Drake. I'm just saying. That's his bread and butter, and that's how you can kill this defense. So, but Josh Jacobs can catch it out of the flat too. We need more of that. Keep this pass rush off its on its heels, and help this offensive line that's frankly been terrible. And last week was just the worst. All five of them, all the way down the line. Shout out, Al. Shout out. I believe in Al, and Al says, I believe in Carr. He has 11 different offensive line combinations this year. Is that a recipe for success? No, it is not. Zero chance we tank. Mark Davis wants money. No ticket sales, no money. Well, I believe Al's Ghost came in last week. We talked about in the game review. In his opinion, I agree with that, is you can have opposing teams, fans coming to the game as well. Remember, this is Vegas, right? You could spend a weekend down here in Vegas and gamble and see some shows and have fun, all that. And then go see your Broncos or your Chargers or your Chiefs play or whatever, coming down the line. And especially a lot of these teams that are in cold weather, like New England, like Kansas City, Green Bay. We play in Seattle, so I'm going to say Seattle. But teams like that, heck, of course you're going to see their team. They get to go to Vegas for a weekend, and a lot nicer weather. I don't see ticket sales waning this year. Maybe starting next year if things really go down the tubes. But Vegas is a hot spot. It just is. So Tay can't get his feet in. Yeah. Well, he had the illness. Remember the illness. The top 3 wide receiver. There's no excuse for that. I'm kidding. Away teams will come. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out, and come out 11:30 tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Sunday morning. We will be live at halftime. And you know what? Even if we're playing badly, come out, because I put on a little bit of a show. Not really. I kind of get a little upset. I got a little upset at the Houston one. I definitely got upset with the Saints game. If you want to come out and enjoy some fun for about 10 or 15 minutes, come on out. I'm sure Hefe will be here, especially if the Raiders are stinking it up again. So do appreciate you guys coming out here on TikTok as well. I see you down here, and on YouTube. Again, I'm still waiting for that stream key. Again, there'll be some major changes with the channel coming this off season. I will get into that then. I don't want to get too much into that now. We got a lot more Raider stuff to talk about right now. We'll get into the draft again. We'll do our mock drafts, free agents. We'll do the big salary cap one that we've done 2 years in a row now. And I put all the salary cap numbers, and I show players I think we're going to cut and for room and to pick up. So we have a lot of fun with this channel. So I would encourage you to sign up And when we do go to that new channel, I will let you know. We'll be on YouTube, but it will be a different channel. I'll explain all of that later, but I will give you links from this channel to come on over. I do appreciate you guys, each and every one of you coming over here. Get dressed up Champ Raider style. Well, I did wear my suit for the eulogy last week. If you were not here on Monday, you can watch the Monday video. I had my suit on. It was a very solemn event. We were eulogizing the Raiders 2022 season because it's pretty much dead right now. Not only with the record, but how they played that awful shutout game. So, watch, we're going to bounce back and give us hope. Then we're going to shit the bed next week. Well, that's the Raiders. Eggs, that's part of being a Raider fan the last 15, 20 years. So do appreciate every single one of you coming out here. Thank you. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something, with all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.